Okay, so here we are, picking up in Sector 2, right where we left off. So some people, depending on what your curiosity level is, remember a store is always a safe node. Some people like to go into the store and see what they missed. If I would have saved any scrap, maybe it would have been good. In the interest of just showing you what kind of bad deals you can get, I'll go ahead and I'll pop into the store here and see what could have been had I backed off of that other node before actually buying anything. So this one had weapons in it. It actually had 2 pages, so I had other things like the hacking, which is a good skill to get. So weapons are definitely good. Glaive beam is a super awesome one. I actually have a video out there on a different channel that shows how awesome the glaive beam can be. Requires a lot of power, which we just can't power up right now, so it wouldn't have been a good purchase. But these heavy lasers can actually go a long ways too because they're super cheap to power. But we're going to take it one step at a time, so we didn't get a new weapon at all in the first stage. We'll see if we can get one in this sector here, but normally I don't like to go trolling around through the nebulas here, but we have the fuel to spend. I don't know, this is ultimately pretty close. I'm probably just going to try and get out of this sector here and move on. I don't think there's going to be a ton in here. So, do we want to attack this guy? We want to make sure that we aren't missing any power. Anytime you're playing around with the nebulas, you want to check to see if anything's disabled. If they had disabled a bunch of power to my weapons, I wouldn't even attack this. I would try to get out as fast as I could. But I think I can take him on because I have 2 layers of shields. He does have a missile weapon in here, so he can bypass those shields. But I'm willing to roll the die there. So I'm going to do what I did before. You can kind of see his weapon power going up. And his missile actually missed me, which was good. So now, fire away on his weapons and slowly whittle him down. So I could take out his shields, but it's more important to attack his weapons and keep those down. His shield isn't going to kill me, but his weapons will. So the only benefit to shooting the shields is that all 3 of these would hit instead of 2. So this here is actually a really great deal then. So we get a weapon, 36 scrap, and 5 fuel. This is a really, really good offer. So even if I can't use the pike beam, I could always sell it and get 30 or 40 scrap for it probably. So pike beam only takes 2 to target, so or to power. So if I looked into this here, 2 in my weapon systems will cost me 85, which I can't do just yet. But what I could do is I could pull off my Artemis and buy 1 of these and depower some of my shields if I really wanted to use this. So managing your expenses is obviously important. Do I feel like using the pike beam is going to be good? It does only 1 damage per room hit. So if there's shields, you don't do any damage. So I would have to take out shields first. Has a slightly slower charge time than the burst laser, so I could use the burst laser to take out shields, and then pike beam would be a good follow-up. It will allow me to conserve some missiles in the meantime. So we're going to go ahead and do this, which means we want to buy 1 level of missile, and that's all of our scrap there. We're going to depower Artemis, power the pike beam. I'm actually going to keep shields, and I'll just drop 1 of my evasions down, which I don't really need. So now we're all set for the next one. And that pike beam should actually get me quite a ways here. So he's going to have a missile weapon in here. It's just an automated drone. It's probably going to hit me with it. This here's the hacking mechanism. So depending on what this hits, if this hits our weapon system, we're pretty much screwed. Because this here's a good weapon, this here's a missile weapon. I need to be able to take him out quickly. So if this hits my weapons, I pretty much have to retreat. There's no way we're going to be able to get out of here without taking a ton of damage. And we might actually take a ton of damage to start with because of this missile here. Alright, so let's undo this. He targeted my O2, so that means he's going to try and drain my life support. You can see it already going red, drop down to 60%. So we have a couple big moments coming up here. His missile is incoming. We don't know where that's going to hit, and we have to wait for Pike Beam to hit its full power before we can do Burst Laser, because if we shoot Burst Laser too soon, shield will be back up, and then Pike Beam's not going to do anything. So unpause. Missile hits my main cabin, not a big deal there. Alright, so Burst Laser's up, Pike Beam is ready to go. We're going to shoot everything we got at his weapons. And then as soon as that hits, then I'm going to do the Pike Beam. Pike Beam is awesome because it's really long. So I'm going to hold this here. I'm not going to actually click on it. If I click on it, it does that, and it's going to fire it right away. I don't want to fire it right away. So I'm going to click it and just leave it off, and then I'm going to unpause, wait for Burst Laser to go, and then I'm going to use this here once the shields are down. So unpause, there's that, shield is down, and then I damaged him a little bit, but his shield got back up before I could really make use of it. Right now I'm sitting on 1 damage, but I damaged his weapon system. Since he's a drone, he won't be able to repair that weapon system. So now, oh, I did take 1 more damage from the missile that was incoming. So now I just have to shoot stuff that's going to hurt me, which in this case here is that stupid hacking. I don't want that draining my life support anymore. So I ended up taking 2 damage. We need to see what the actual reward is here. So hopefully it's more than 4 scrap, because that's what this encounter ultimately cost us. And he dodged. How about that? Oh, I should have used the Pike Beam right there, but I'll just take it out on this one here. Alright, so let's see if we can reap the rewards. So 23 scrap, a missile, and a drone part. So not awful. I'm going to make sure that I heal and take both of these guys here. Move them in here. Fix my little compartment here. I'm going to power this once it's up too. And then that also brings up a good point too. You'll want to use your little hotkeys here to ultimately save people in certain spots, and then you can ultimately send them back to where they were. So send them back to where they were, and I can save these guys at any point. So this way, if you're ever boarded, somebody comes into your ship, you could send all your guys into the safe zone here where they're getting healed, fight them in here, and then when you're done, just send them back to their normal spot. Alright, we gotta take that off, get our engine back, jump, and we're actually gonna leave this sector then. So, we're hailed by a guy here saying, what do we need here? Specialty, offering to upgrade sensors for 20 scrap. So sensors in general are not that expensive to upgrade. So 20 scrap basically, or 19 scrap to do this. It's hard telling. If we decline it, we can see how much the actual sensor upgrade costs. I think it costs 25, so we're getting a moderate discount here. So I'll go ahead and do it because the sensors are obviously helpful. I don't have a lot of scrap anyways, so may as well just spend it, right? So upgraded sensors by 1. If we look at this here, sensors, the first one now is 40, which guarantees that the previous one was 25. So it usually goes 25 and then 40. I don't know if there's any other ones. This one went 25 and 50, but so it's decent. It gives us sees the enemy interior, and then when it's manned, which I have my rock guy in there, I can see the enemy weapon charge, which is helpful. Alright, next sector. So remember, I wanted to ultimately get to this node here, so I'm going to have to go through 2 things of civilians. Now, again, aside from the color, there's also who's controlling the node. You'll ultimately want to get to know who your races are, because the races will tell you what sort of people you're going to encounter. So NGs, I believe, I want to say they're kind of telepathic. No, but looks like they're robotic. That's what they are. Even I can't remember which ones are which. Doesn't pay to go to the store yet because there's nothing in there. So ultimately, I'm going to try and use some of my 20 fuel to hit up these nodes here. So we could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We can use a good 10. And then if we go off on a tangent, so be it. But count out your fuel before you spend it. So this guy's got 1 shield. He's got a beam weapon, and he has a simple laser. So we should actually be able to fare pretty well against this guy. He has an attack drone, though, so that's going to do a little bit of damage if my shields go down. Fortunately, the double shield will get you through the first couple of sectors pretty much by itself. So now keep in mind, because of the pike beam's longer time here, I have to wait to fire my burst laser too, and I have to shoot it pretty much at the shield generator now. This here can't hurt me. This drone can't hurt me because of my double shield. This here will probably not hurt me, but it'll whittle my shield down. So I'm actually in a very good spot here. He fired 1 thing, so he'll never be able to actually hit me. So I have basically carte blanche to do whatever I want here. So what some people will do is they'll sit and just soak some damage here. In this case here, I don't have anybody in shield. So if I take Rockman, move him into shields here, every time they attack me with the laser, he should gain a little bit in shield. Notice the little green thing that said the shield went up? So some people like to play this smart and they say, keep on attacking me. I know you can't hurt me. I'll take the little bit of shield boost. And you can see it grows very, very, very small because it's not doing much damage at all. So I'm actually not going to go that route because at this rate it'll take a half hour to fill that shield up, which just is a waste of time. So we are going to just go ahead and take him down. Take out the shield, and then we want to hit as many rooms as humanly possible with this beam. And now he's trying to get away, so he's not going to get away. And his offer, 3 missiles, which is pretty good. And then 19 scrap. So would I rather have the scrap or would I rather have missiles? I think missiles are going to be important unless I ultimately focus on, you know, other types of weapons. But I'll go ahead and I'll let him live for now, and we'll take the deal. All right, so let's go up to the top here, hit this corner. Same basic type of ship. He has a little bit stronger weapon. He still has another beam weapon, and we still don't know what his drone is. He didn't launch a drone just yet. There it is. So now this drone here is a little bit more beneficial drone for him because it's going to do a little bit of pew-pew damage instead of the beam. So this here is ultimately what I'm concerned with, is how much damage this does in combination with this, because if the two of those two knock my shields down to nothing, then this beam weapon will actually hurt, because this does damage per room it hits, which you saw with mine, it can hit like 5 rooms. So with a good shield, oh, it wasn't even a damage, so this was a border. So now this drone here is going to be attacking my shield, which is not a good thing, because if my shield goes down, my ship goes down. So in order to lose the shield, he's got to deal quite a bit of damage. So I'm actually going to send this guy and this guy in here to hopefully take out some of this, because once this here loses that first bar, I lose my thing of shield. But being that he breached here, I'm also going to be struggling for oxygen as well. So this is where your pause comes in handy, and when you really start to micromanage these fights, because you cannot lose sight of the bigger picture here. So I need to make sure that I fire off burst laser and start attacking these things so that I can ultimately not take any further damage. So let's start doing this here. These guys will send in there. If the drone is attacking me, he's not attacking my shield generator. That's what we ultimately need. So my shield is still up. Burst laser is ready. Pike beam is almost ready. So fortunately I blocked his beam, which is good. We are going to fire away at his shield. And then the beam weapon, I think we're going to go from a lower left to upper right to hit that drone thing. Actually, no, we pretty much have to fire at his weapons. We can't have his weapons out there. And actually, my burst laser was garbage, so I actually have to pull off my pike beam. It'd be a waste to attack because it won't do any damage. So now it's back to micromanaging this, make sure these guys don't die. Because if they do, I need to make sure I dump them into my regeneration here. So like this guy is not going to make it long, so I'm going to select him first to start with. Make sure I can get him out of there. And then oxygen is at 94. I'm going to sacrifice a little bit of oxygen to replenish health. And now we're going burst laser against shields again. And we'll try this one again. And they all missed, actually. I managed to get a little bit of a hit on there. But his drone is about dead, which I killed it. So I'm going to heal this guy here. And then I actually have to get my oxygen back. So I took out his health and his oxygen and did just a teeny bit of damage to his shield. So his evasion must actually be really high if he's dodging my lasers. We're going to try and put the hurt on him here. Alright, with his shields out, he's toast. He can't hit me with his weapons through my dual shield. So we're pretty much all set here for glaive beam, or my pike beam. And he should be toast. And now he wants to make a deal. So normally at this point, out of spite, I would just kill them, but 5 fuel is pretty good, and 8 missiles. I mean, that's a pretty amazing deal. So I almost have to take this, even though I'd really like to see him burn. All right, make sure we got to put our oxygen back on, and then we got to send these guys in here to repair this junk. Hull breaches are no joke. Notice how fast they lose health when there's no oxygen. Alright, so we'll heal them all up and then we can make our jump to the next node. Alright, pull off the health, throw our one engine back, return, jump, and off we go. Okay, distress call. What do we want to do? Well, this run itself isn't overly successful so far, so I'm going to take every risk we can, and this is a bad one. So they're going to have borders because they have a teleport pod here. As far as the actual ship goes, the ship itself is pretty weak, so all we have to do is we have to just hole up in our med bay and we'll actually be fine, as long as we don't let him get away. So there's 2 mantises and a really weak weapon. So depending on where he's going to go, we don't even know where he's going to teleport to yet. So he went midway through here. I'm going to send my rock guy over there because he's the strongest guy I got. Send him in there. Mantises are your highest attackers, but 3-on-1 I should be able to take him. He'll teleport back before I can kill him, I think. Nope, I killed him. So now he's pretty much a sitting duck, because he's probably going to try and get away now. But I'm not going to have any of that. So we got burst laser, and then we are just going to see how many rooms we can hit here. So this would hit 6 rooms. And he's pretty much dead now. So send these guys back to where they came from. And we'll do burst laser on... It doesn't really matter. His engines are dead, his weapons are dead, his shield is dead. There's his regeneration. That's a handy thing if you're an attacker. So actually, I'm going to send these guys back to the med bay, because I don't know where that guy's going to go to. I don't want to get caught off guard. So if I attack, that pretty much ends it there. He's just trapped without a guy, so. And I get a little bit of a reward. I got myself a slave. That's nice. So I get another crew member and some more rewards. Things look pretty good. All I gotta do is survive this guy here. Alright, I'm gonna turn this on. Rockmen are generally not as strong as Mantis, so it's common to, you know, run into issues fighting here. I'm trying to avoid him taking out my engine here, because if he hits the engine, that you lose a point of power, basically, if they take out one of your systems. You don't want to ever have that happen. Alright, so turn all these back on. And then we got to see what we want to do with Kapalka here. He has no specialties, so we're just going to put him wherever, I guess. I think he would be beneficial in doors, actually. Next time a border comes up, see the doors actually change because it's manned. It adds an extra level here. So it basically creates little doors and prevents them from getting through. Alright. Finally, we got a store. We only have 89 scrap, so I'm going to hit up this node, and then go to the store. Hopefully, between these two here, the store is actually going to have something that I can buy, and things will actually, you know, work out as far as scrap goes. So, we can booby trap. When you booby trap here, all this is going to do is it's going to slow down the enemy fleet. So, if you're looking to hit more nodes, it's a good idea to do this, assuming you can spare the missiles, which I can, but I'm also not really looking to outrun the fleet. I'm actually in a pretty good spot, so it makes more sense to secure it. And I got some scrap as well as a drone piece here. I think this is a drone piece. Shield overcharger is a drone part, yeah, so it basically gives me shield stuff. Nothing great, so let's do this one here and then we'll hit up the store. Alright, so now we can finally get some more scrap. Sell drone parts. I'll gladly sell 6 of those. I don't need drone stuff. I don't plan on using drones. I plan on maxing out weapons instead. And now I got 130 to spend in the store. Hopefully there's something good. If there's a good missile, I can sell my Artemis. If there's a good weapon, I can sell my burst laser. That's ultimately what we're looking for. So, drone recovery arm. We don't use drones. That would have been a good one to have. Reloader makes weapons go faster. Kind of nice, but also not worth the investment every single time. So, ability to go to any previous node. I've never seen this as being worth it. I would never recommend buying it because it really only means that you would backtrack, and you can rarely ever backtrack because of the fleet behind you, so it's not usually a good use of your scrap. Page 2, drone system, teleporter system, or mind control system. None of these are really high priority for me. The drone comes with a defense drone, which I just said no to the drone recovery arm. Do I want to pay 85 plus 50 here? That would be all of my scrap right there. It's not going to be worth it at this point. So what I will do is I'll buy just a couple fuel, fix my hull, and then save my scrap for the next one. And actually I'm going to sell this here because it was a drone part. So get 30 there, and then hopefully we'll find another store very soon. Fleet's catching up, so I'm just going to hit up here, see if either of these are stores, and then I'm just going to hightail it to the exit. Plus we're almost running out of time for this video here. Laser charger, so it's a free weapon. We just need to investigate it. Costs 3 to use, allows you to save up 4 charges. So basically my burst laser has 3 charges, costs 2 power. So for 3 power I can save up 4 charges, but I also don't have to wait for it to 100% power up either. If we look at the weapon itself, so there's a max charge of 4 shots, charge time is 5 seconds per. So I can shoot 1 charge after 5 seconds. I can shoot 2 of them in succession after 10 seconds. So the full charge up time is 20 seconds compared to this one here, 2 charges or 3 charges in 12 seconds. So this one is definitely faster. And when you look at the damage, damage is 1 and damage is 1. So they have the same amount of damage. The only benefit of this one here is that it holds 1 extra charge, but it takes twice as long to charge up. So we have to, weigh the pros and cons of equipping that. Personally, I don't think it's going to be necessary just yet. I'll keep it, but I'll probably end up selling it in the long run because it is a little bit expensive to equip. Now, having a 4-shot laser is obviously helpful because if you run into double shields like I have, you need to be able to take those down. And the only way you can do that is with missiles or just repeated shots. And so that's part of the reason I don't want to get rid of my Artemis missile without having a viable alternative for it. And since I'm really low on scrap and energy stuff here, it's too risky to try and equip this and sell off other stuff. So we'll keep it for now. And we didn't get a shop, so I'll just hit this one here. And then we'll hit the other one and then we'll leave. So there's nobody there. And actually, I forgot to save my crew loadout here. One more node. Okay, so we are now dealing with one of those choices. So you can give them missiles to deal with their stuff, or we can use this blue thing. So anytime you have an appropriate crew member or an appropriate skill or an appropriate weapon, these blue ones are always the way to go. It's almost always a guaranteed victory for this scenario. Giving them 5 missiles will give you a little bit of a reward. Giving them 15 missiles, I've noticed, gives you barely any more of a reward. I would never ever suggest giving away 15 missiles unless you're completely a non-missile ship, like a drone ship, or you just don't have a missile launcher, period. Then you can go ahead and do that. But honestly, saving those missiles for something where you can sell them would be actually better. In this case here, I'm just going to say, yep, go ahead and launch a missile. And didn't do anything. So like I said, it's almost always decent, but in this case it didn't yield anything. I'm not going to give them any of my missiles, so I'm going to politely decline and move on, because I have a feeling I'm going to need my missiles at some point. If I get another or a second missile launcher, it's going to be a way for me to take out my enemy's shields. Alright, so we're going to hit up the exit and move on to the next one. Because we were in a civilian sector, we just didn't really have that many encounters, and that's kind of how it actually is here. I finally did get another encounter here. This is actually a pretty weak one, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tear this guy a new one. So his weapon is a single energy weapon here and a beam weapon there. Nothing he can do, so I'm just going to take out his shields, and then I will just hit him with my pike beam. Actually, I gotta wait a little bit here so that the burst and the pike are together. Alright, burst first, pike beam, and then it doesn't matter what we shoot here. Probably shoot his engines just so that he can't get away. The drones don't usually run away, but they can. Hopefully this gives me a nice reward, maybe 25 scrap, get me over that 200 threshold. Because we're going to start needing money pretty soon, because all of my mid systems here, my engines are really poor. My shield is ultimately going to need another tier. I need more power to weapons. 4 is not going to cut it for this ship. Not when things cost 2 and 3. I'm going to need more power to weapons if I'm going to take on enemies. But we're doing 233, so I got basically 2 things there. I got the reward for the fight plus one other one, which brought me up higher. Alright, so jump, next sector. And so now, like I said, I wanted to get to this one here, so I have to go to the NG homeworld. So we'll do that one in the next video.